The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? When an army surrounds me, my heart shall not fear. And though war rise against me, I will remain confident. I'm in war with the spirit that got my people on drugs. Turn my sisters to hoes, all my brothers to thugs. I'm in war with that spirit, put money before people. Hypocritical laws, claiming there's no evil. You not a thug, your facade is so see-through. Industry pushing more murder and more evil. You a real thug, so what? You still a whore for evil. Satan pimping you, after he kill you, he gon' leave you. I'm in war with the spirit that keep your mind from learning. You find them in institutions of higher learning. If I'm the government and wanna maintain a form of control, I'm only giving degrees and what I want you to know. I'm in war with that spirit that always wanna compete and justify doing dirt with yo, I gotta eat. I'm in war with that spirit that want everything quick, fast. Santeria, voodoo, and the spirit of witchcraft. I'm in war with the spirit of gimmicks and whack lyrics and rap critics who exalt artists that lack lyrics. You got the money, but what is it costing ya? Book of Revelation say drug dealers are sorcerers. I'm in war with the evil and rappers, the evil and pastors, the evil and actors, the evil and slave masters. I'm in war with the Eurocentric view of the world. White supremacy's garments. I'm in war with the kingdom of darkness. Rejoice not against me, O my enemy. When I fall, I shall arise. When I sit in darkness, the Lord shall be.
Good evening, everybody. Y'all been hearing me quote that line forever, and now you get to hear the song behind it. If I'm the government and want to maintain a sense of control, I'm only giving degrees in what I want you to know. We're gonna talk about a form of control tonight. I call this my history is fake warm up course. I'm gonna cover a couple things coming up that I know a lot of folks is gonna find hard to palp, to have, to settle on, because you've been raised with one thing, thinking this thing was what it was your whole life. You were thinking that this thing that you were taught was it. I'm just here to tell you that if you don't question everything that you've been taught, if you don't question everything from the norm, I don't know what to say about you. I really don't know what to say about you. Unfortunately, a lot of us have formed soul ties with the lies. That's just what it is. You form soul ties with the lies. So when the truth comes in, it feels like a personal attack because all your life you've looked up to a thing or you've held this thing in your heart. And we got to realize that a lot of the stuff that we have been taught and told is wrong. A lot of the things that we have been led to believe to be true is not. And tonight we're going to talk about one of those things. It's going to be another part 2 of my Dragon Tactics series because, Dragon Tactics is when, the dragon come in and he give you all these little tricks and he pulls all these little charades to basically have us worshiping what we know not and to have us going astray from the things that Yah had set up for us originally. So this one I'm going to do it's a little different. I've done it before. I have done it before. I have done things similar like this before. But what we're going to talk about today is the Gregorian calendar. We're going to talk about the times and the seasons and how we came to this calendar that we have today. And what you're going to find out from what we're doing is we're going to figure out why Earth's time is wrong. And then at the end, I'm actually going to have something to put in perspective that should give especially a lot of us that understand the truth that, the so-called black people in America are actually descendants of the true Hebrews and, not in the sense of, only black people can get saved and all this and that. No, it's just that Most High has chosen a people among the earth and we are that people. We're descendants of that people. It's nothing to be prideful about because look at the state that we in. look at how we act as a people. Let you know we went from a lofty position to such a shameful position. You should be coming before the Most High with the most humbleness and shamefacedness as it is, because I just look at some of the stuff that my folks be doing, and I just said it today that if the Most High burned the earth up, I wouldn't feel no type of way toward him. I think he'd be justified. I would still worship him and call him holy because this place is raggedy. It is raggedy. raggedy, 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 raggedy. And we're gonna uncover another facet on why it's so raggedy. What we're gonna see in this lesson here is I'm gonna walk y'all down the history of this current calendar, and just to tell you how this thing got to a place. My goal is to show y'all, to open up minds. It's not always going to be just, I'm not preaching. What I'm doing is I'm helping us come back to our original culture by uncovering the lies that we've been told, by allowing you to see, then understand and think deeper about the life that you live, because it is so easy for them to change paradigms. It's so much easier than we think. And that's one thing that I'm going to kind of point out to you as we go through this little journey here with the calendar, because it's kind of amazing how they took something as you would think that how in the world could you change time? And you're going to find out, like, these jokers are crazy, man. These jokers are crazy. So what we're going to talk about is the new moons and the seasons, aka the great calendar shift, and how they shifted to this new demonic twisted calendar that we find ourselves stuck in. And it all started back in 1582. And you notice I put it in quotations because, who's to say that that's the real 1582? And you're going to find out why I said that as we go through this lesson. So what we're going to start off here is Yah already, being who he is, he's the creator, he's unmatched. Everybody's arms too short. I don't care if it's Satan himself or any mighty angel that could probably shake the foundation of the earth if they really, really tried. Their arms are too short to box with the Most High Yah. They fail in comparison to him, and though they have created such a crafty and demonically ingenious plan to get mankind away from the Most High is unmatched. And even in the middle of their nonsense, he still has ways, and he has still done things. This is why they ripped a lot of books out. I'm going to show y'all why they ripped out Jasher. You know what? Let me pull this out the way for now so y'all could read that up in the corner. My little logo was blocking it. I'm going to pull that out for now. So we're going to start here. This is Jasher. This is Jubilees 6. Jubilees 6. And I believe I started at 26 on this one. I kind of just copied the verse and put it in here because, unfortunately, like I said, they took this book out of the Bible. So if you try to go and find it in a normal raggedy King James Bible, y'all know my feelings about the King James and that raggedy translation. If you try to find it there, it's not there. You got to get a Bible like the Sefer Bible. You got to find the Ethiopian Bible and whatnot. I like the Sefer. Their translation is pretty decent. Their translation of Enoch is, I forget the name of I think it was the Alexandrian translation. And that translation is basically a translation of a translation where they went in and they changed they changed Enoch 66. Where they just changed the whole wording of the Enoch 60. In the original, it said that the Most High had told the angels to work at the trees and to wait until he gave them the signal before they chopped down all the trees. Now, if y'all know, if you have giant trees in the earth and you're trying to send a flood, that tree's going to take up all that water. Plus, a lot of the Nephilim was living in trees. This is why we see a lot of this symbolism with giants and trees. Where the Jack and the Beanstalk, he went up a giant tree essentially and found giants. And in the anime One Piece, when they finally made it to the island of the giants, it was a giant tree. Paul Bunyan, what did he do? He cut down trees. So we see that there was this association between giants and trees that goes down through quote unquote folklore. But we're going to go ahead and read Jubilees 6. And they placed them on heavenly tablets. Each had 13 weeks from one to another, past their memorial. From the first to the second, from the second to the third, and from the third to the fourth. And all the days of the commandment will be 2 and 50 weeks of days. That means 52 weeks. So what he's saying, this is for those who don't know, in Jubilees is when Moses was learning the history of the world, and he was learning the stuff that would have him to write the books of the Bible. And the angel of the presence was telling Moses about what was going on, and he's giving him an accurate account of calendars. And so he's saying that in all the days of the commandment will be 2 and 50 weeks of days, and these will make the entire year complete. So according to the angel that is entrusted by y'all to teach Moses, the year is 52 weeks, 52 weeks of days, 52 weeks. Thus it is engraved, and thus it, I'm sorry. Thus it is engraven and ordained in the heavenly tables, and there is no neglecting this commandment for a single year. Thus it is engraven and ordained on the heavenly tables, and there is no neglecting this commandment for a single year or from year to year. And command thou the children of Israel that they observe the years according to this reckoning, 364 days. And these will constitute a complete year, and they will not disturb its time from days and from its feasts. So he's giving Moses the layout. He's saying, all right, y'all, it's going to be 364 days, not 365, and all this stuff. We're going to get ahead of myself. He's saying this is the establishment, 364 days in a year. This will constitute a year, and you won't disturb it. You won't change it. That means adhere to this calendar. And my lovely slide didn't want to move. All right, hold on. All right, there we go. And for everything will fall out in them according to their testimony, and they will not leave out any day nor disturb any feast. That means do it. That means do it. Make sure you don't neglect anything. But if they do neglect and do not observe them according to his commandment, then will they disturb all their seasons, and the years will be dislodged from this order. And they will disturb the seasons, and the years will be dislodged. They will neglect their ordinances, and all the children of Israel will forget and will not find the paths of the years, and will forget the new moons and seasons and Shabbats, and they will go wrong as to all the order of the years. For I know, and from henceforth shall I declare it unto thee, and it is not of my own devising, for the book lieth written before me, and on the heavenly tables the divisions of days is ordained. So basically he's saying, it's not me. The angels letting them know, I'm not prophesying this, bro. This is what was written on the tables. You know, the Most High wrote this on the heavenly table. So this is what it is. So that means when the Most High knows the beginning from the end, that means there's a table that's already set up with the major events of what's going to happen in the earth. For I know from henceforth, from henceforth shall I declare it unto thee, and it is not of my own devising, for the book lieth written before me, and on the heavenly tables the division of the days ordained, lest they forget the feast of the covenant and walk according to the feast of the Gentiles after their error and their ignorance. And there will be those who will assuredly make observations of the moon. Now it disturbs the seasons and cometh in from year to year 10 days too soon. Keep that in mind. I want y'all to remember that, what the angel said. It's going to notice that all of a sudden there's going to be a 10-day variance. For this reason, the years will come upon them when they will disturb the order and make an abominable day the day of testimony, and an unclean day a feast day. It sounds kind of like how folks be talking about Sunday's the Lord's day. We worship on the Lord's day, and how they say that, oh, the Messiah, he rose on Sunday, and they make this crazy 2-day nonsense where he died on Friday and rose on Sunday 2 days. That don't make no sense, but whatever. You know, they can't count in Christianity apparently, and you know they just make up days, and they don't understand that they've made up days. And they will confound all the days, the holy with the unclean, and the unclean day with the holy, for they will go wrong as to the months and Shabbats and feasts and jubilees. For this reason I command and testify to thee, that thou mayest testify to them. For after thy death, thy children will disturb them. So I'm sorry, I said this was Moses. This was actually for Noah. I apologize. This section is in 2 parts. It's one part where Moses is told this very same thing, and then it's told again to Noah when he came off the ark and he got his commandment after he got everything together, and they're like, all right, he set up a offering because he just happy to be on some land again, and he was told that his children ain't finna follow the right days. Like he was saying here, for after thy death, thy children will disturb them, so that they will not make the year 364 days only. Keep this in mind. And for this reason, they will go wrong as to new moons and seasons and Shabbats and festivals, and they will eat all kinds of blood with all kinds of flesh. Now, just pausing on this moment right now, that this should already be screaming at those with eyes to see, where it talks about they will confound all the days, the holy with the unclean. Here comes Santa Claus. Here comes Santa Claus. Right down Santa Claus Lane. Oh, Jesus is the reason for the season. Which is it? Is it Jesus, or is it this nigga that's an anagram of Satan? Which is it? Which is it? It ain't making sense. It's not adding up here. It's not right. Like which is it? Because you're mixing holy with the unclean, or the Easter. Oh, the Easter bunny. We're gonna decorate eggs, and we're also gonna celebrate the death of the Messiah while we go and paint and hunt for eggs. Wait a minute. What does eggs got to do with the death of the Messiah in Passover? What? Y'all are confounding holy with the unclean. And Christianity does this a lot. And this is what this world system does. They just do it and people just go with it. And when you try to tell folks about it, they be like, oh man, you're crazy. Oh, we do it for the kids. It's for the kids, man. The kids, kids, we gotta have, we gotta give our kids abominations. And then we gonna wonder why when they grow up, they got demons in them and they acting crazy. But because we want to keep them kids and let them enjoy themselves with them demons. That's how they sound when they be defending this mess. They defend it. So we already know the Most High's already called the play of the fallen ones already, because he like, look, they finna change stuff. So why was the calendar changed? The problem, Julian calendar drift. So the Julian calendar, now remember, there was a calendar in Rome that they used. The first mix up was the Julian calendar. It's very hard to find stuff pre-Julian, pre out of that, because Rome was such a big influence on the world, and they've done such a knock-up job of just deleting most of the history of the world and deleting a lot of these different things. So the Julian calendar was one that they had already back during the time of the Messiah. They was already getting ready to try to change days and times. So the Julian calendar was 365.25 days a year. It was 11 minutes too long annually, and by 1582, they realized it was a 10-day seasonal drift. Hold on, let me go back. For there will be those who will assuredly make observations of the moon. Now it disturbed the seasons and commanded in from the year to year 10 days too soon. The 10-day vary. Like the Most High literally called them play for play. He called them. He called their play long before they even did it. He was calling their shots, because here it is. This is their justification for this Gregorian, this popish, which is hilarious. You're going to find out why I call it popish in a few slides. This popish commandment that just screwed up dates and times. Like they were just messing with stuff. So by 1582, there was a 10-day seasonal drift. The spring equinox went from March 21st to March 11th. That means it was coming in 10 days sooner on the calendar, but it wasn't affected by the actual laws of nature, because again, the Most High is on his own time. The earth is going to follow that time. The earth and all the things of the earth that the Most High created follow his time, his rules, his laws. It's only when man comes in and tries to improve upon things, especially these rulers of this current age who have no regard for nature and no regard for natural life. They're parasites that just go from place to place, steal stuff, steal ships, and steal leaders and then be out here trying to hold people up for their stuff. They're parasites. They don't build nothing. They don't know how to bring life. All they bring is death and destruction. So that's what they decided to do. The solution: we're gonna remove 10 days. I see why I had that thumbnail with them dragons crossing days out. I thought that was so hilarious. They crossing the days off the calendar. They just took 10 days out. So October the 4th through the 15th just became the 15th all of a sudden, 1582. And they had created new leap year rules. That means that every year that was divisible by 4 was a leap year, except for centuries. So it's I before E, except followed by, it's these goofy rules. It make no sense. It's just like Brother Todd said, the math ain't mathing. They just throwing numbers at the wall and seeing what sticks. So now we got these leap years, and except for the 1700, the 1800, and the 1900s, because those are centuries, and unless it's divisible by 400. So 1600 and 2000 were the the 2 centuries that were allowed to have leap years. So if you remember, those of us that was around during 2000, there was a whole leap year in 2000. I remember it was a big old deal about the year 2000 and planes falling from the sky and all this other goofy stuff they were talking about. So in October 1582, that was the 10-day jump. So it went from October the 4th to 1582 to October the 15th. Can you imagine going to sleep and it was the 4th and you wake up and it's the 15th? Like, what does that do to your brain? What does that do to your mind? It's like, bro, 10 days are just gone. That's insane. It's absolutely insane. They took the 10-day jump then. So it went from the 4th to the 15th. The first adopters were, of course, the Papal States, which was Rome and the right leg of America's first form. Now, I'm gonna briefly touch on this. Those who know, Daniel had that dream of the statue, and that statue showed all the world powers that was gonna be. It pretty much explained the history of the world leaders and powers of Earth. And after you got the Greeks, you had the Romans, and it was always just taught that Rome was the leg, and then everybody just assumed that we was in the toes and all this, and that's just what the lie that Christianity told us. But what we don't realize is that the legs, there are two legs. And in the Bible, we see here where it talks about the beast suffered a grievous wound, but then he got back up. And in Left Behind, they always want to teach you, it was when Nikolai Carpathia got shot and assassinated, but then he just jumps up and rises from the dead. Woo! No, that's not what none of that was. Most High in Revelations, the Most High was talking about and dealing with nations. So a lot of the imagery in the prophecies that were there came from and relate to nations. To prove it to you, the beast that is shown in Revelations with the jaguar and the bear and all those different amalgamations, this chimera animal, if you look up, and this is something I'm gonna give you as like, a little rabbit hole to go down yourself. Look up regalia, like flag regalia. When you see the flags and you see the lions and all these different things, look up heraldry. I'm sorry, it's called heraldry. Look up heraldry. And then look up all the animals and then look them up on heraldry. I'm gonna give you a hint. Leopards are also included in the heraldry, and every single animal that's listed in that animal has a tie to this current system and this current world that we're living in right now. It's all tied to nations. So if you want to get a better understanding of Revelation, stop thinking about it in terms of people and think about it in terms of nations. The Most High deals in nations, and that is a part where he's dealing with the nations. So a lot of the stuff in Revelations is relating to nations. So when it talks about it having a grievous wound, they want us to believe that Rome is over and done with. My guy, we still living in Rome. We still have Roman gods. We still go to Roman. When you go to your courthouse, what do they got standing outside? A Roman deity, a Roman goddess. When you go to Ellis Island over in New York, what they got out there in the island? A Roman deity, Atticus, and his little eunuch behind his libiquita self there that worships and gives his power, his manhood to a woman. That's the kind of the principality over this place. They got this. It's the same thing. Look up the Roman Colossus. Look up the Roman Colossus on your own, and then look at a picture of the Statue of Liberty. And then realize that you're living in Rome Part 2. There's two legs on the statue. The first leg was the Rome that we learned about in the past, but today we're still in Rome. You want to know how? The Roman education system is the same education system that a lot of you niggas is proud of. Y'all be running around, especially females. The Hebrew female and a lot of these little, a lot of Hebrew men that built their pride up on, especially if you done went and did your little dance to your little step in, and you done pledged your life to some Greek deity and all that mess. You done made this nonsense your life because all of your worth is in a slave's education. This is why I don't respect degrees. I don't care if you went to school for 30 years. You've been institutionalized. You've been taught to be a slave. Remember the song, my verse in the beginning? The song, if I'm the government and want to maintain a sense of control, I'm only given degrees in what I want you to know. You're not educated when you go to these places. Yeah, they'll teach you a little math. Yeah, they'll teach you some flawed science. It's flawed, extremely flawed, but you're not taught the truth. You're not taught the truth. And when people want to teach the truth, because I've seen lots of, especially here now, a lot of physicists have been abandoning the popular society because they're like, dude, these equations y'all come up with don't make sense. These laws and rules don't make sense. And I can observationally prove the opposite of what you're saying. But since it goes against the popular opinion, that person gets ousted. There's a lady I watch on YouTube. She's like I think she's German. I think she's like a German lady. A buddy of mine put me on to her, and she's always like just kicking a lot of the popular science opinions in the tail. And she got kicked out of her. I think she was working at a school or something, and they kicked her out because she challenged one of the ruling theories. Now, when I grew up, we were taught that theories were allowed to be challenged because that's a part of the scientific process. You had a hypothesis. And if you say, hey, I think that this could go this way, you test it. If it didn't work, I guess it doesn't work. But then if you test it and it does work, and you test and you iterate, and now you see it's repeatable. Now you found a law. So now it's like, okay, well, now we have to adjust our thinking because we've tested this thing and what we thought was no longer true. That's not the case no more. Now, if you try to question science or you try to come and question things and bring things up to proof, they try to shame you. Case in point, why in the world was Obama so obsessed with flat earthers? Y'all got to understand the witchcraft that these jokers be doing, man. These so-called presidents, man, they be casting spells. But just because they're not up there with little with warts in a cauldron, like the witches off the Crucible or something, or they ain't out here screaming bibbity bobbity boo and all this other nonsense. You don't see it that way, but you got to understand these jokers be doing witchcraft and they be programming your brain because he's like, oh, that's so stupid. You sound like a flat earther. He said it a lot. It's like, why is that? Because during that time, people were starting to question it. When guys like Eric Dubé were getting popular on the internet. Eric Dubé is one of the biggest guys that talks about the true cosmology of the earth. And I'm going to talk about that next week. So I'm going to save some for it. But I'm just making a little, aside about that right now. This is why you have to question everything, even the time and the dates and stuff. We don't even really know how to tell time. They tell you there's 24 hours in a day. That's a lie. There's 12 hours in a day, and there's 12 hours in the night. They tell you there's 24 hours in a day, so when they take all 8 of your hours during the day, you don't think that it's that bad because you figure I got 24, it's just 8. But what they really do is they take all of your daytime. When you leave, it's dark. When you come home, it's dark. They take your day. We are slaves. This is why I say the educational system is designed to keep you as a slave. Because when you talk about this, people are like, oh, well, no, you still got to go out there. You still. I ain't saying nobody don't got to work, but what I'm telling you is don't be dependent upon this system because, again, you are a slave. They just call it an employee now. They just, change the wording. Oh, you're a citizen. They don't know. If you notice, they don't even call you customers no more. You're a consumer. It's Rome, bro. Rome had the same system. A Roman slave wasn't taught how to think. A Roman slave was taught what he needed to do, even doctors and lawyers and all that kind of stuff. A good buddy, a good friend of mine, she's a lawyer. And she literally told me, she's like, I spent all my time in school and they didn't teach us to read. We didn't read the Constitution. As a lawyer, they didn't even read the Constitution. Huh? What? How? Because it's not about educating you. It's about teaching you to perform a function so that you can do the job that they want you to do. Not so that you can get in their business, which is rulership business. Because if you understand the Constitution, then you're going to look at some of the stuff they're doing and be like, wait a minute. They don't want you to know that because they want to maintain the sense of control. Anyway, sorry about that big digression. So yeah, the Papal States is Rome. They, of course, were the first ones to take it. Then Spain and Portugal, shocker. And then Polish, Lithuania, Commonwealth, and then most Italian states. So pretty much most of the main power centers of Rome were the first ones to take this new calendar. Then they had the follow-up adopters, which was France. Of course, they always following behind. The Catholic Dutch provinces, Luxembourg, and Prussia. So notice it wasn't just something that was just done all at once. And this is what I want you to pay attention to, the time that it takes for these things to take in. So then there was a resistance. There was a Protestant resistance around for about 100 or so years. And they called it a Papist innovation. That's why I said that before. The Protestants, because again, not everybody was going along with this stuff. There were people that were still observing the old and proper ways of doing things. And there's always that opposition against these changes. It's not like that people just come. Look at today. How they're trying to, re-blur the lines between a man and a woman. And it's not like it doesn't go by how it goes. Now, if the Most High wasn't going to come and shake up the paradigm of this system, you would end up having your grandkids running around with men in the women's bathroom and everybody just go to the same bathroom all together like it ain't nothing. And it will be normal for them. And they'll be like, oh, yeah, there's no difference between a man and a woman. No, it's just whatever, but it's a flux. It's blah, 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 blah. That they will go with all the rhetoric that's been spilled online because it literally only takes about 80 years to change a paradigm. That's not long. That's little under a lifetime. A little under a lifetime. And you can change a whole paradigm of everything. So you had the German states, they resisted. The Dutch, they resisted. Switzerland and Canton by Canton, they resisted till about 1584 to 1812. Then you had the double dating period where basically they were doing both calendars. So then you had some folks that were basically showing one calendar and then also following the Julian calendar at the same time. So they would basically have, that was like their compromise between the two of them. Britain itself only used the Julian up until 1752. And then they were 11 days behind. So they had to make that up, which caused a big shakeup. So here's the British Empire. When they adopted the calendar, it became the new style in 1750. So the Britain and American colonies all adopted the Gregorian calendar. And then that's when they put in the 11-day correction. And when they did that, they took more days again. So you went from September the 2nd to September the 14th on all in the day. They just took away took your 11 days out. And so then the public was like, yo, what's going on? Give us back our 11 days. Give us back our time. If you look on this up online, they'll try to say, oh, this was all just exaggerated. It was a conspiracy theory, blah, 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 blah. But there was a whole painting in the American colonies showing the Whigs. The Whigs are basically the old form. The Whigs are what we know of today as the current form Republican Party. For those who don't know, the Whigs, there was never a party flip. That stupid nonsense that black folks do to cope with the fact that, our ancestors was Republicans, but the parties flipped. There was no flip. There was no change, no nothing. They just got infiltrated. Abraham Lincoln was probably the most racist dude that went around. There's a dude called Razor Fist that I don't agree with all the stuff he says, but when he teaches American history, the brother be on it. You know what I'm saying? He's an Anglo dude, but he teaches some good history. From him, I found out and learned, because he talked about Cicero, and Cicero was anti the education system in Rome. He was anti that system that they had, and they ended up cutting Cicero's head off because Cicero wasn't with the nonsense that they were doing. He wanted all people to be treated fairly, and he wanted things to be progressed properly. And they're like, no, bro, we're not trying to make a good society. We're making slaves here. You got it to go. And he had a great video about Abraham Lincoln. I highly encourage you to go look him up. His name is Razor Fist, Razorfist. I think it's Fist. Yeah, Fist. I'm trying to think if he spelt it weird or whatever. I know it's Razor. He's he'll be a real, skinny, pasty looking white dude. He's in black and white with shades. That's when you got the right one. And he has a couple of videos that are good. He did a video about Michael Jackson, which is really what endeared me to him, because he straight up to see this dude defend Michael Jackson. I mean, he made 3 videos going in depth. I mean, he was bringing facts after facts after facts after facts. And you started to see that, man, they just set up a witch hunt on this man, Michael Jackson. And he also talked about Abraham Lincoln. And it is an eye-opening thing. I highly recommend you, because Abraham Lincoln was not no slave liberator. Abraham Lincoln was racist and evil as all get out. He didn't give a crap about none of y'all black behinds, none of our black behinds. He ain't care. His mentor was super racist, and they were what were called Whigs. The Whigs were essentially the racists at that time. Even Democrats were still, it's how that was. Democrats was racist too, but the Whigs were just out there with it. They were like the slave owners and stuff. They were the main ones that were trying to fan the flames of the Civil War, because slavery was good business, you know what I'm saying? And they weren't trying to let no slaves go away. They were trying to let that power go away. And they was also not trying to let the South keep all that money to themselves. They was trying to tax them jokers. So you'll start learning things like that. That's what the Whigs and all that stuff came in, and they had a big revolt. And when the calendar change happened, that's when they had a sign that said, give us back our 11 days. And it was like a big deal that they had in the American colonies and in Britain. It was like a big deal because, you were taking people's stuff. So they had what they called the calendar riots. Then the tax year got moved over from March to April in America. And then in April, it pretty much it stays the same of the tax year to this date. Oh, clicked on the wrong one. So then here comes Scandinavia and the Asians. So this, again, is nothing but confusion. This is why it was all confusion. This thing didn't just happen. It was nonsense in the beginning. So Sweden tried to transition for 40 years, from the 1700 to 1740. And they had a plan to just skip leap days for 40 years. It basically caused nothing but confusion, whole confusion. So then they added February 30 in 1712 to revert things back to normal. And then finally in 1753, they just jumped on the Roman train and adopted this flawed, retarded, goofy calendar. Then in Asia, Japan adopted it in 1873 during the Meiji Restoration. For those who don't know, and this is an interesting little tidbit, I find it very interesting that in various cultures, there's always like this one person that they demonize as like this evil person. He's evil, he's bad, he's horrible. And in Japan, it is Oba Nobunaga. The Meiji Restoration was basically when the Anglos showed up to their port and basically was like, nah, we finna come in. The reason why Japan had basically closed their doors and closed the doors to the island because Oda Nobunaga saw what these Anglos was doing and he didn't want none of that mess over there. He didn't. Nobunaga was a different type of dude. He was a dude that also employed a Hebrew samurai in the form of Yasuke. he was a different type of dude. He was different. He wanted to maintain the sovereignty of his people and not allow these pale-faced jokers to come over there with their nonsense. But as always, there's always some traitors in the midst and stuff like that. Now, I'm not going to sit here and act like the samurais was like good guys. Samurais, they were jerks. They did some crazy stuff. Just like the knights and all that kind of stuff. Y'all be surprised. Let's just say the knights and the samurais were super gay and super arrogant and super prideful. In that order. That's how that was. I'm sorry if that ruins your samurai fantasy, but them samurais was boy lovers. And they were rude and mean. A lot of them were rude, you know. They felt like they were the best. They were the aristocrats and stuff. So that made some people sour. So that made Japan ripe for the taking for the Meiji Restoration. That's when you had the Ishin Shishin, or the basically the rebels that fought against the Tokugawa government. And they won thanks to the help of America, of course. You know, they actually was Britain at this point, America's mama. Britain, you know, came through with the nonsense and do what they do best with deception, deceit, and planting lies and all kinds of stuff. And then they ended up winning and kicking Nobunaga out. And they came in, and now Japan adopted their calendar. Korea adopted it in 1896, and China adopted it in the Republic of China adopted it in 1912. And then in 1949, the People's Republic of China, the new government, they adopted it as well. So Russia and the final European adoptions. Russia fixed it in 1918. That was much later. Actually, Russia still has a lot of what they call Orthodox Church. Like you'll see here, the Orthodox Church, how they kept the Julian for liturgy. Russia has a lot of Orthodox old school Christians that still function on the Julian and still function on that calendar. This is why that actually I want to say yesterday, they celebrated Christmas, because according to their calendar, the Christmas was yesterday. So it was during this time they celebrate Christmas. So in Orthodoxy, Christmas is celebrated in what we call January. And the Bolshevik decree, you know, came in February 14th in 1918. That's when they started basically say, okay, we're going to go ahead and move on to this Gregorian, because at that point, America had pretty much taken over most of the world. And if you wanted to do business, this is how they got the final push for the calendar, is when the whore became to sit on many waters and started enticing all the merchants. Well, to do business with the whore, you got to play the whore's game. So you got to basically jump on the calendar. So this is what led to this. And this is why today they have a 13-day difference even from our current calendars. The last European adopters were in 1919 to 1927. That was Romania and Yugoslavia. You had Greece in 1923. They had to do a full 13-day correction. See all this nonsense with these numbers and these corrections and all these days. See the confusion that they're throwing in. See, we don't see it now because all this happened before a lot of us was born, and a lot of this stuff was already established, but you don't see that how these systems weren't like literally the world was just now put on the system really in like you could say in like the 70s, 80s, and 90s. That was really when the system got solidified. I'll say like in the 70s and 80s is when everything got solidified, because that's when China started doing more international dealings and stuff like that. So as America's influence grew, that's when more adoptions of this unholy calendar and these unholy days happened. Then Turkey did it in 1926. They did it for the fiscal year. And then in 1928, they finally had a full year in the Gregorian. Saudi Arabia, they did it in 2016. 2016. What happened in 2016 in Saudi Arabia? Wasn't this the war on terror in them 2010s and stuff? And didn't a lot of that infrastructure and stuff it seems interesting that every time Westerners come in the country, they just change the paradigm of everything. So now in 2016, Saudi Arabia is on this demonic calendar. And they were pretty much the last major company that has it for civil use. So this is just a listing of all the different calendar systems that are still available. The Islamic calendar still uses a lunar calendar, which is closer to the original one. So there are still some folks that still follow a lunar calendar versus a solar. The Gregorian calendar is called a solar calendar. It follows the sun, which is not right, because if you read in the word, it was moons and new moons. Even how our bodies work, like that's why the word lunatic comes from, because it was believed that during certain phases of the moon, it would actually affect people's minds. A woman's body is regulated by different moon phases. This is why you have Sailor Moon. This is all these different things that they that just blend old understanding with paganism and nonsense. You know, it's a common understanding that a woman's body is on the lunar cycle, but then of course they take it and turn it into some nonsense and pervert it like they always want to do. So these are the Hebrews that have it. There was the Hebrew Jewish. They're still on the a lunar calendar as well. The Hijri, which is in Iran and Afghanistan, they have a solar calendar, but theirs is a little different from the Gregorian. They have it's similar but different. Same but different. In Ethiopia, they're on their own thing as well. That's why I believe, and this is actually what prompted me to do this, because I had saw the Teo episode where the one gentleman was like how this year 2026 is actually 2019 in Ethiopia. More on that later. And then India has a different one as well, that they follow a solar calendar as well. So there was also, even though we had these Gregorian calendars, they still kept some of their old cultural calendars. Like India has a Saka calendar, which is still official with the Gregorian, but it's separate. Nepal has their Vikram Samvat, which is basically their legacy calendar. So a lot of these countries, they converted for the sake of money, essentially, but they still held on to their cultural calendar that they had before their colonization. The Hindu Panchang is another one. Buddhist has a calendars. That Buddhist era is kind of crazy to me. The Myanmar, Sri Lanka, Cambodia, they all have their variation of Buddhist calendars that they have for their observations. That's not their religion, it's their culture, their cultural observances. They maintain their cultural calendar. Whereas if you want to do business in America, they follow the Gregorian. The Chinese has their lunar solar calendar, where their system, like the Chinese New Year, I believe is next month, if I'm not mistaken, where they have that, where it determines the lunar, because it's a lunar solar calendar. It goes by the moon and the sun, and it actually determines when their lunar New Year is. So their lunar New Year vacillates depending upon the moon cycles. So then you have the Orthodox Julian calendar that many still use. The Orthodox basically meaning the religious or, cultural. They say religion, but it's really culture. The only ones that have religion are the West with their nonsense of Christianity. That's a religion. When you had them jokers that teamed up with Charles Manson and killed them people, that's a religion. All them folks over there in Waco that went down there and drank the Kool-Aid, that's a religion. Man-made nonsense following dogmatic rules, that's religion. What these other places have are their cultures. That's what they do. That's just their way of life. That's how they live. So you always had the civil, which was going to be the Gregorian, and then your religious was typically your Julian or some variation of the Julian, which follows the moon or whatever have you have it. So what I'm going to do is when I'm done with this by Sunday, there's going to be a option on my page on my shop there, where you go and y'all downloaded the book for free. Is going to have a section there called Knowledge Seekers, and that's where I'm going to start posting some of my when I have notes and stuff like this, so that you can kind of go back and reference it yourself. I'm gonna have it up at least, if I do it on a Thursday, it'll be up by the close of business Sunday, by sundown Sunday at the latest. That's when it'll be up there on that site, and that one's going to be free. It's not going to be any charge for that. It's just you can go there. It's a resource for you to grab. That one, that part is free, but there's going to be some other ones in there that it's not going to be free because they're a little more spicy. The Julian only churches, they all have theirs of the Russian Orthodox, the Serbian, the Gregorian, the Jerusalem Patriarchate, and the Mount Athos monasteries. Again, all of these offshoots of Christianity and their orthodoxy, they still follow the Julian. And then you have Revised Julian, which is Constantinople, which is in Rome, and Greek and Cyprus and Romania. So they're kind of waving the line even there too in their religious circles and stuff. They still keep some of those old calendars, the old orthodoxy of the Julian calendar. So this one just talks about the modern change of the format. Then this is when they changed it. They turned it into an international standard with the year, the month, and the day. The week starts on a Monday, and then they basically use it in computing and business and everything for all this stuff. You'll notice that. You have most systems have basically a dual system, like I talked about before. They'll use the Gregorian for civil stuff. In other words, money, anything dealing with money and business, they were dealing with the Gregorian. And when it's traditional, when it comes to their culture, then that's when they have the what you call it, Julian calendar. Saudi Arabia does it, Israel does it, Iran does it, and they even have this nonsense, which further shows the foolishness of this goofy system. You have leap second adjustments because you have to adjust for the Earth's rotation slowing down. It slows down 1.7 milliseconds a century. How do they know? Just trust me, bro. Just trust me, bro. How does even though when you're on a swing and you're swinging, you feel the motion. When you're in a car and you're moving, you feel the motion. When you're on a plane and you're moving, you feel the motion. You're on all these different things that move, you feel the motion, but you're on a giant ball that's spinning 66,600 miles per hour, flying through the universe with all the planets spinning around it like a giant bullet out of the Big Bang, but you don't feel a thing. You don't feel nothing. You just going. But they feel it, they feel it. NASA feels it, and they letting you know that, hey, this is what happened. So we got to adjust it. So in 1972, they added 27 seconds to the clock. They just doing all kinds of stupid stuff with the dates. So in conclusion, as y'all predicted in Jasher 6, the calendar was changed drastically. It has had days removed and has added and has been jumbled up, so we no longer know the original timeline of Earth. With this in mind, it makes sense why in the Gregorian 2019, notice I say the Gregorian 2019, the president publicly recognized 400 years of black slavery. This was a double entendre laced poison. To those of us excited to find our true history, we saw this as a sign of the promised end of our captivity in Babylon, aka America. However, this was a poisonous pill aimed to wear down the saints. Believing that 2019 was the true 400 years, we have been waiting expectantly for the fulfillment of Yah's promise to deliver us. However, with the years passing, many have been discouraged, and detractors have used this to try and discredit the 400-year prophecy. The real issue is Yahuwah's time has never changed. He don't change for nobody. He's the same yesterday, today, and forever. Heaven still runs on the calendar established by the Creator. So with Ethiopia, a nation not colonized and closest to the old world calendar, declaring this year, 2026, as 2019, it places into perspective how our understanding was incorrect, because this Gregorian calendar is not Yah's calendar, and he moves in his time. So this was basically me trying to give a good pep talk to us. I know a lot of us have, been watching since 2020, since 2019. I woke up in 18, and when 19 came, I was excited and geeked, and 20 came and stuff, and then 21, and then 22, and it's like, all right, I see it. What's going on? Hey, it's been 400. What's going on? How long? But this really had to put it in perspective for me. Is like, we were waiting. Who's to say that was the 400? And then again, looking at how our current leaders are acting now, why would he recognize the four? Like, why would they recognize? Knowing good and well, recognizing 400 years of us would mean their doom. Why would they do that? We got to think about it. Why would they do that? Why would he come out of nowhere and just bring this up? Why would he do that? Because it was a lie. Because it was meant to get us wore down. This is what Satan's come to do, to wear down the saints. So because we were expecting something and our sense of time is warped, we were out of whack. We were out of whack. And now here it is, 2019, according to the Ethiopians. And now we start seeing some things happening on the world stage that starts to look a little like, okay, wait a minute now. Wait. This is getting crazy. This is getting crazy. America just snatched up a boat from Russia. Like they literally went to the other side of the world and snatched their boat. It's like, what? Wait, what? How are you just gonna go and snatch somebody else's boat? That don't make no sense. That really don't make no sense. Yeah, brother Eric, it's according to the Ethiopian calendar, it is just now 2019. It is just now 2019 according to their calendar. That really made me think to see that, wait a minute. That means that what we thought was for the 400 wasn't the real 400 that y'all had established, that y'all put in this place. So what we got to do is recognize that sometimes, our sense of time is warped. It has been warped. One thing that is true, though, we see is the time speeding up because 2025 went by. I mean, honestly, ever since 2020, time has been a blur. It's crazy to me to think that COVID was 6 years ago. 6 years. It feels like just yesterday. It feels like it was just yesterday when all this mess happened and we had that nice peace and quiet of everybody sitting down somewhere and minding their business. It was a beautiful time. I love the time of COVID. The driving in down where I'm at was amazing. It was great. It was awesome. In the store, there's certain groups of people that don't understand personal distance. They kept distance. I was like, oh my God. They were washing their hands, even though they had to be told to as adults, but at least they was washing their hands. It was beautiful. It was great. I loved it. I loved it. It was great. You didn't have to have some old Anglo lady breathing down your neck waiting in line because she don't understand personal distance. It was a beautiful thing. I loved it. I loved it. But that's been 6 years. It's been going crazy. Time has been moving and moving and moving really quickly. And it's like, man, where has the time gone? Again, we're in 2016, 2026 already. Heck, 2016 feels like it was just yesterday. Like, I mean, it's like when I really sit down and think, I'm like, goodness gracious, it's already been 10 years since 2016. It'll be 10 years since 20. It's wild. It is absolutely wild. And I see why the Most High is moving the time up. Because he said even the very elect would be deceived. Y'all see this AI stuff. This AI stuff is getting really hard to dissect. A lot of these images that you're seeing right now of them showing Venezuela and stuff like that, a lot of that's AI. A lot of that's not real. Some of it is real, but it's from like a soccer win from like 5 years ago or some stupid mess like that. And then there's a bunch of videos that got shared on Twitter. I seen them. People were sharing these videos and sharing stuff, and it's like these were AI videos, man. People out here thinking, one thing, like propaganda can go through the roof. They can make you believe whatever you want. So I see why the Most High is speeding up the time, and I see why that now it made sense why it seemed like nothing was moving and things was going slow and things wasn't happening because we was expecting things to start popping off and popping and changing and whatnot. It's because the time was wrong. The time was wrong. Now, given what we're seeing going on right now, it's kind of like something I'm gonna say. Like I said when I was on, I had made a post on Teo's Facebook page on one thing. You can start seeing the reasoning of why the horns turn on the whore. Because look at what's going on with this Greenland situation, and all this whole situation like that. Like America's really being a bully right now. America's on that Debo tip right now. This is my president. Maduro, you out of here. You out of here, homie. You out of here, punk. This is my oil. They went up on that. They ran up on that Russian tanker. No, this ain't your ship. This is my ship. What you got on my ship, homie? What you got on my ship? They just ran up and took them dude's ship. They just took the man's ship. And it was imagine a person coming in your yard, in your garage, stealing your car. That's essentially what they did. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. The stuff that we're starting to see. And it's really high time. This is why I'm going to start doing these things that really, everything I've been doing is really touching on the culture. Because when the Most High say come up out of her, it's not just, it's definitely get your tail up when it's time to go, get up and go, be willing to get up and go. But you also have to come out of Babylon in your brain. We've all been raised as pagans. We've all been raised in this nonsense pagan mindset. And we have to understand that all the things that we have been taught, all the things that we have been shown have been laced with lies. And we have to question everything. Don't hold nothing that you got from this place to your heart that close. Nothing. And this is coming from a person. I argued with a 7-day Adventist about Sunday being the Sabbath back in the day, in my ignorant self, because I wasn't thinking. I was just going along. Oh, this is what it is. This is crazy. Look, it said it's just the Lord's Day in the Bible and blah, 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 blah. Because back then I just thought that the Bible was what it was and what it said. Didn't realize that you had to go in and go deep, deep, deep and dig these words and break these words apart. You can't just casually listen to nobody. That's why I'm gonna put this up on the site for the knowledge seekers, so you can use this as a resource to learn and grab things. This is why I'm telling you these things, and I told you the history of these different nations and stuff, because being armed with knowledge is how you fight ignorance. My people are destroyed not because of lack of knowledge, because they reject knowledge. We have to start learning, not just about us, but even other parts in the world and other things. How in the world are you supposed to be leading the nations and you don't know nothing about the nations? How in the world you supposed to, be you tell the quote unquote Gentiles that they need to come to you and do all this and that, but you don't know left from right or up from down. You still going with the lies of Babylon. I can tell you right now, there's a lot of Anglos that's waking up and saying that they have inherited lies. It's a real interesting thing to see. It's a real interesting thing to see. They are coming out and telling the truth about a lot of this stuff. This is why you're seeing a lot of the things go down. And I also want to give a good warning to folks as well. Like, I know, black folks, we always want to fight. Niggas always, I ain't never scared, get on that bone crusher. I ain't never scared, you be all here. I wish a nigga would. And, all this little rah. Look, man, we got to use wisdom in how we move. We got to use wisdom in how we talk. Real talk. And just yakking and saying stuff on the internet about this president and about a lot of stuff, y'all need to slow down with that, because in other countries, and it's coming, it's here, it's getting here too. It's creeping up. It's really already here in some forms or another. There was a what you call it? They already attacking it. What was that dude? What did that dude? That was the whole thing with that dude from Turning Point USA and his death and whatnot. They came after Discord. For those who don't know, Discord is like a chatting service that, a lot of folks, millennials and under use. We get on Discord, you talk with your friends, you can be playing a video game, y'all can play games together, you can stream. It's basically like a little platform you can get on and just talk with people, and you can have different servers set up with different rooms and all kinds of stuff. It's just like a little social platform. And they were trying to say that this dude was using Discord as a way to plan this assassination. So they put Discord to task, because they want to basically say, hey, Discord, we want to go in and get any information that you got in there. So what they're doing is they're tightening the ropes, and they're trying to get eyes in. Well, they're not trying. They have eyes everywhere, and they're basically setting a precedent for this stuff, so that then, let's say we make a Hebrew Discord and we in there just talking about, they'll come in there and call us extremists, because they'll try to line us up with these psyops that of the camps that be running around. Oh, you're a Hebrew Israelite, you're an extremist, blah, 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 blah. Nah, bro. I don't be on the corner yelling and cussing at white folks. That ain't my vibe. I'm trying to get my soul salvation in line. I ain't got time to be cussing at white folks and telling them they're going to be my slave and all the kind of stupid, goofy crap these jokers be saying. I ain't got time for all that. I'm more ashamed of my ancestors and ashamed of our current state of a people. I ain't got time to be sitting here being arrogant and prideful with other folks. I'm trying to get my soul salvation together. I'm trying to get myself together. So be mindful of what you say. Be mindful of what you do. Be mindful of how you move, because with this coming war, basically, this is what it is. I'm just gonna say it. It's just with this coming war that's about to come. There ain't gonna be no such thing as no freedom of speech. A lot of niggas gonna be out here, oh, my freedom of speech, oh, my rights. You don't got rights, bro. You don't got no rights. Y'all seen that cop shot that lady in her face. He could have stepped out the way. Now, mind you, she was goofy too. You know, these white women, they're pretty much been at the apex of society. You know, a white woman was basically the highest rank of anything. And if you did anything false to a white woman, the book got thrown at you. You know, you Emmett Till and all this stuff. You can admit on your deathbed that you killed a young boy for over nothing, and you know you get no consequences in this earth. That's the type of nonsense that white women run on. That's why you get Karens, because they think they run everything. They think they control everything. It's the spirit of the world. She ran up on this dude thinking that, and now she's no longer here. It don't make no sense. Get out them folks' way. Yeah, if them ICE agents coming through and they're coming through your hood, don't even go out there, bro. If they ask you to do something, listen. Hey, I'm gonna come. Hey, you want me to step outside? I'll step outside, bro. Hey, you want me to step out your way? Hey, I'm gonna step out your way, bro. Go ahead and do what you got to do. Hey, Most High said we yield to the authority of the system. You got the authority of the president. Do your thing, bro. Do your thing. I'm not finna sit here and argue with you, because look at what happens. A white woman, it was crazy, bro. I'm like, this is legit the reversing of the curses. It felt like I had to, when I said, I knew she was white, but I had to wait for them to say that she was actually an Anglo lady, and I'm like, bro, they shot that Anglo chick like she was a nigga. It's not funny because it's sad that she died like that and then she went out like that, and it's disgusting that the lack of desire, just the lack of care for human life that this place has. But at the same time, you play stupid games, bro. You win stupid prizes. Like it is what it is, and it's kind of crazy that he blicked off on that chick like that. I was shocked. I'm like, at first I was like, oh, she had to be black. I was like, dang, I was kind of getting upset. But then I started kind of paying attention to the neighborhood and the people. I'm like, I think that was a white woman. And sure enough, this is why it's so, and moving. And now you're going to see all these protests and all this stuff. Don't you get your black behind out there. Don't you get your black behind. Stay your black tail home. This ain't our fight, y'all. This ain't our fight. This ain't it. You see the links that they went through to change times and seasons. That was on us to keep us unconfused, to keep us jacked up, to keep us wore down. Don't fall for the trap. Don't fall for the trap. Let me tell y'all a story. This is how the enemy moves. This again, our people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Everybody want to be, ego, pride. Oh, no, I'm the man. You ain't finna do that to me. And then your stupid behind get shot. And now everybody crying and you on a shirt. But, he wasn't no punk. Keeping it real goes wrong. I worked at a furniture store. This dude, I guess he was waiting on a furniture delivery. He took time off from work. The furniture delivery didn't come, and he ended up actually getting fired. Now, mind you, if he got fired for taking time off of work, that's probably more of a him problem than the furniture store problem. But he got mad and blamed the furniture store. So he stood outside one day with a sign, and he was just standing out there doing like a little silent protest because that's just what I guess he felt like he had to do. So, they of course, now mind you, I'm like 17, 16 years old. They send my black behind out there like, oh, why don't you go out there? And I'm like, the heck you want me to go? Like, nigga, I am nah. So I just went out there and asked the brother about his sign and stuff. And he's like, oh, you don't intimidate me. I'm not scared. I'm like, I'm not trying to intimidate you, bro. I just want to see your sign. Like, they want me to intimidate you, but I'm not here for that. I don't get paid enough, my guy. I got paid $8 an hour. That ain't enough for me to come out there and fight this man. I ain't enough of that. So they called the cops. The cops came. And the cop stood out there, talked with dude for a good little minute. Then dude finally went on his way. And the cop comes in, he's talking with the manager and the people at the front desk. I'm like on the other side of the desk listening in. And the cop is sitting there laughing with them saying, yeah, there was really unfortunately nothing I could arrest him on. He really wasn't doing anything. I just gave him a warning for the trespass because y'all trespassed him and stuff. He's like, I even stood on his foot a couple of times. I was standing on his feet and getting in his face real, a couple of times and stuff, trying to provoke him to get him to do something, but he never bit in. He never bought it. He literally was trying to provoke this man. This man was just having a bad day. That's all it really was. He was just having a bad day and he wanted to vent. He was kind of, he was a little, you could tell he was just having a bad day. But this police officer was trying to force him to react so that he could react and beat his tail. And I'm like, that is the most disgusting thing that I've ever seen. And this is what we're going to start seeing them doing. They're going to start doing stuff to try to push society and push, and they want a reaction. This woman was one of the first things that happened. Now you're starting to see them protesting and doing all this and that, and it's going to just keep building up more and more and more. They've got the National Guard and all these different forces getting ready to move into different cities, because when they go to war, there ain't gonna be no, it's gonna be martial law. Ain't gonna be no First Amendment. I got the right to free speech and none of that crap. Ain't gonna be just getting on the internet and calling the president all kinds of names and saying all kinds of crazy, goofy stuff. That's not going to happen. I'm not saying, oh, you gotta be scared of that. No, I'm saying move with wisdom. If you don't want to spend your last few times sitting in the cell over some stupid crap, move with wisdom. You don't got to speak on everything. You don't got to talk about everything. Just move with wisdom. I really wanted to get that out today too, because, in light of a lot of stuff that's happening, it's about to go down. It's seriously about to go down. I really didn't intend to make this message about this current events to segue into this, but it's about to go down, and I really don't want to see none of us having to go through the nonsense and get into these camps that they building because we can't be wise and shut up. We have to be quiet sometimes. Sometimes we just got to sit back and let this fight be yours. I believe personally, the reason why we don't practice war no more, I believe because the Most High gave us a lot of these superpowers and stuff back in the day. You had jokers doing all kinds of stuff, man. When you read Jasper and Jubilees, you know what I'm saying? Yehuda, who was out there, if y'all ever seen X-Men with Banshee is their little bull crap. it's the Bumba Clot. I was about to call it the Bumba Clot ripoff of Yehuda, because Banshee's power was he had a supersonic scream. Yeah, nah, nigga, you not the real one. Our forebear, our ancestor was the real one who had your ancestors miscarrying some of your cousins because of the power that the Most High gave him in his hollers. And him and his daddy shooting arrows from his doggone wheelchair, and all his brothers has whooped the whole sets of cities, so much so that the people downstream figured out that the city was getting rocked because the blood was coming down. And they're like, yo, we got to find out what's going on. And they find that cities of niggas dead because of a whole family of dudes. Not an army, just like 5 or 6 dudes. Like, come on now. They be ripping us off. They rip it off. So I believe that a lot of that went to our head, and that's why we started thinking we was just bad. We could do bad all by ourselves. Oh, I got strength. I could do this. I got this. I could do this. And you get full of yourself. So the Most High had to humble us and put us in this position. So yes, we know, we all can go in, we can go in and Anthony Joshua, Jake Paul. we can rearrange jaws. We could do that, but that's not what we called to do. We called to chill and wait on the Most High. What we need to focus on is fixing our culture, fixing ourselves, fixing our hearts, getting Babylon out of our heart and washing our brains. Because as you saw from what I went through with this year, and again, this calendar thing was just a brief overview. It was just an overview of one aspect. There's so much stuff. Y'all have seen, y'all know I'm that's my thing, is calling out the nonsense that they've put before us and showing you the lies that they do. It's so much. I'm gonna do another one next week that I know a lot of folks gonna be like, oh, he crazy, he goofy, this and that, but you'll refute my facts. That's the thing. If somebody just wants to come and talk trash to you and just say, oh, you're crazy, you're this and you're that, without refuting your facts, without actually giving you real facts, you're not worthy to have a conversation with me. Your opinion don't even matter to me. I don't care about your boos. I've seen what makes you cheer. So I don't care. Boo me all you want. As a matter of fact, I want your boos, because if you cheering for me, that means I'm doing something stupid. If a stupid person is cheering for you, then that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. But for real, be wise, everybody. Be smart about the stuff that you're doing. It's getting goofy out here. It's getting extremely, extremely goofy. It's getting very, very, very goofy out here. It's getting real in the field, as we used to say back in the day. I'm about to be 42 years old. I'm official unk status. So, young blood, we used to say it's real in the field. They about to get batted out here on this stage. It's about to get off the chain out here. America got the roof on fire. Know what I'm saying? yeah, they're getting buck wild. Right, Gar? It's buck wild out here. It's getting hot. It's getting hot in here. For real, you know, America out here like some no limit soldiers. Shoot, they got President Trump ran up in Venezuela like the man right here. Oh, shoot, ran down there. Here I go. Went over there, took Russia a boat. Here I go. Like, bro, it's getting goofy, man. It's getting crazy. I gotta take it to the old school, man. America out here being jive turkeys. These suckers ain't playing. Yeah, they wilding out. Exactly. Exactly. They wilding out. They wilding out, man. It's getting it's getting real out here, man. It's getting absolutely real. So we got to move with real wisdom. You know, there's been so many things I've been wanting to talk about and go in on, folks, but I just be like, I'm not gonna go there. I ain't gonna go there. I think the most as I went is I told a good buddy of mine, he going hard about this Venezuela situation. I'm like, my guy, that was AI. That's just me just telling there. I always tell that to everybody whenever I see AI, because folks just be falling for the AI nonsense. It's hard, man. It's getting really hard. You got to trust Yah for what you see. Don't be so quick to speak on something. Don't be so quick to believe something. Wait and give it time. Give it some time. Look, observe, and watch. Don't be so quick to just run and, you know, jump over. That's something that we all had to learn. I know as soon as I woke up, I was running around trying to tell everybody, nah, man, let that thing just take a little bit. Let that thing sit in you a little bit. You know, we get that zeal. And then, you know, when you got zeal but no wisdom, that's a bad thing. So let's move in wisdom in this hour, because it's getting hot in here, y'all. It is definitely getting hot in here. It's getting crazy. It's 400 degrees. Hey, America not playing. The block is hot. It is getting absolutely wild. So move with wisdom, man. Don't let nobody pull you out in none of these stupid, goofy ice, and, you know, we're gonna go and protest. Nah, we ain't doing none of that. We ain't doing none of that. Y'all had that. Let the mother folks do that. This the nation they want to fight for. Y'all go fight for that. We good. We just gonna sit here and let them ICE agents do what they do. Hey, I feel like the people that's getting taken away, they actually getting blessed. It's a blessing, low key. They thinking they're getting punished, but really they're getting blessed, because you ain't gonna want to be here pretty soon. It's getting goofy, man. It's getting goofy. Look at the reason why they had to make this move is because the economy is absolute crazy. Like, I've already seen stuff. They're talking about people not going to be getting a tax return. So hope none of y'all out here thinking, you know, got stuff betted on your tax return, or you out here going to your little neighborhood homeboy who will get you your goofy tax return with your last check stub and trying to get stuff early, because the IRS is underhanded. They understaffed, rather. They never really picked their staffing up. And don't forget, this government thing is just temporary until the 30th. And they already pulling nonsense up on your boy, well, you know, up on the president. So, you know, when come 30th, it's going to be another dog and pony show. Who knows? They probably let that junk slide, knowing how this thing is going. I believe he'll let it slide again. Because honestly, America probably can't even afford most of that stuff. They can't afford that. Exactly. Yeah, we in the house till it's time to bounce. Real talk. And I'm Audi 2000. For real, bro. Hey. So that's my secondary, word to y'all, little brief covering of current events. I don't cover current events and stuff like that no more, because stuff changes all the time, every time. I'm talking about dude, it's so much stuff that happens. It's absolutely crazy. It's kind of funny. I ain't gonna lie. Watching like Canadian prepper just go from doomer mode to doomer mode. I ain't gonna lie. If y'all have never seen my man, or rather, he's in prepper news now. In prepper news, how he he went from the shizzy hitting the fizzy to just full on just beep beep, just cussing like he don't care. He's like, bro, it's like, I don't care. It's wild, man, but it's definitely it's getting there. I mean, you see with all the unemployment, it was, I think they said 40% of Hebrew women alone last year got laid off. Just Hebrew women. I was a part of that too. I got laid off as well. You know what I'm saying? By the grace of y'all, you know what I'm saying? Things moving for a brother. I praise y'all for that. So I'm good. Don't worry, you know, I'm straight. But you know, it's now is not the time to put your trust into the system. If y'all has given you an idea for anything, now is the time to go and pursue that. Like, shout out to my brother Garth. He be out there with Faith and Fitness by Garth. You know what I'm saying? If you want to overcomer, you know what I'm saying? You wake up every morning and get your daily pep talk from the brother, and then get some good workout cues too. You know, I'm not the type of dude that like to grab one system. I find workouts that actually hurt real good, and I found a few from my brother. So yeah, pay attention to my brother, Faith and Fitness by Garth. You know what I'm saying? As a matter of fact, if you can shout your website out, Garth, your channel out. You put that thing out right there real quick. You know what I'm saying? To shout yourself out. And brother, we gotta, you know, we really gotta gatekeep. There was a Instagram that I saw that made me just warmed my heart because this Anglo dude asked what Suki Suki meant, and nobody told him. And I was so happy. I'm like, I'm so happy that happened. Like, I was like, let K-pop be the last straw. Let's stop just giving our jewels away for free to these folks. Let's start gatekeeping our stuff, gatekeeping our culture. I'm sorry, it is time. We've been hoarded out for everybody. Everybody want to take our stuff and use and abuse us, and then toss us to the side and look at us down with scorn, while they turn around and wear our hairstyles, sing our style of music, dance like us, dress like us. Nigga, I seen twerking Asians. I'm stomping my mic, so forgive me if you hear the bump with your earphones, because that junk is just preposterous to me. A twerking Asian. Nigga, what? What? There was one chick I seen, man. She got on she actually left Japan, went to Atlanta, married, I'm assuming a black dude. Then something happened, dude died, and now she just thugged out, and she out here with gold teeth in her mouth and all that. There was a song I saw. The dude looked like Lil Wayne, and hold on. As a matter of fact, hold on real quick. I will show. I ain't gonna play the music because you know they love to copyright strike, brother. But let me find that. What was that? What was that? Oh, they were called Team Tomodachi. Team Tomodachi. Let me share this real quick. Real quick, like, and then I'm gonna shut it down. It's Team Tomodachi. I'm gonna share this real quick. They shouldn't hear no mute. Yeah, the music's muted. Let's see here. Let me find that joker. Is this the one? Nah, but again, look at the chain. Look, Nick, look. Who does this? Who did this first, bro? Come on, man. Come on, bro. Like, seriously? Look at this. Like, this is what I'm saying. Gatekeep, bro. We need to gatekeep. And, you know, we still there. We just be loving on everybody. You got your boy out there with Duke Deuce. This ain't the one. This ain't the one I'm looking for. I think it's this one. No, that's not it either. But then again, look, these are all Asian chicks. Yes. Look at this. Look. Again, remember when they used to call black chicks hood rats for doing this? They used to call them, they had all kinds of names. I remember in the 90s, anytime a black woman had long nails, oh, she was a hood rat. Oh, it was a hoochie mama. Look at her with her long nails and da 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 da. Like, bro, again, twerking Asian. Look, Asian with locks, my guy. Locks on an Asian. Gold, the teeth, everything. Look at this. Look again. Look, these are all Asian females. All Asian females, my dude. All Korean, Chinese, more than likely. All this stuff. The one chick looked like she got a little mixture in her. You know, the girl right here, she looked like she got her daddy might be a Hebrew or whatever. But in this one too, in the middle, that looked terrible. But all these, look at all this. These are Asians, my dude. These are wait, no. This is it. I think this is it. The dirty, is it dirty? Yeah, dirty can site with Jin Dog. The dude's name is Jin Dog. Now I'm gonna show y'all this cat. I want to show y'all this cat. They call this is the Asian Lil Wayne. When you hear the song, he even tries to sound like him, bro. Like the dude is like Asian Lil Wayne, and then the dude next to him look like Snoop Dogg. Hold on, let me get the dude on there. This the one. This cat right here. Look at this. Look at this wig. Look at Faking the Funk. Look at this whole group of Faking the Funk. Look at this dude. He tall, skinny, got his eyes low. Well, his eyes not low because of smoking, but but it's like, bro. And again, his style is very similar to Snoop's. It's like, are you serious, bro? Are you serious? Are you freaking serious? Like, this is the nonsense that I'm talking about, bro. This is the absolute just insanity that's going down. It'd be one thing, if it was like, Amish, they showed love and stuff like that, but Asians are racist, bro. There's pictures of this is the one chick I was telling you about, the other Asian chick. There's again Asian. Oh no, I gotta stop this one. We gonna stop that one because they out there tripping. I forgot she literally had it in a strip club again. Where do you get this from? Where did that come from? Who has their movie their videos in strip clubs? Like, come on, bro. Come on, man. Come on, y'all. They can have that part of the culture. That ain't our culture anyway. They can have that trash. But we got to start gatekeeping our stuff, man. If y'all's giving you an idea for a comic, a story, a song, anything, don't just think that it's just got to be a preaching thing that you got to get in there and just be, I got to preach, I got to blah, 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 blah. No. Whether it's a fiction, non-fiction book, write that book. If you've had thoughts about songs and stuff, sit down and write the song, learn about song composition, take voice lessons, put work into what's on your heart. Because that is what builds the culture. That is what builds the nation, is the culture of the nation. And we have a rich culture within us. They done, when you got a bunch of slaves around, one slave will try to talk to the other slave to try to look down on one slave to try to make them feel better, but they all slaves. So this is why you always have folks from the islands trying to talk about, oh, American blacks ain't got no culture. We have culture. Like, bro, number one, we all in the same boat together. So kill that noise, number one. And number two, we got plenty of culture because everybody be trying to take it. Everybody be moving like Black Americans. Everybody move and do what we do. We need to start putting this to work for ourselves and stop trying to run to these Anglos and get pimped and treated like hoes. That's why you see all these jokes. TLC was selling and making that record label millions, multi-millions, and all them chicks was broke. They was all broke. Y'all seen the whole Diddy documentary? All them Craig Mack was all over the place, broke, no money. All these dudes and these women that came out back in the day that was selling out shows and was actually selling albums. See, back in the day, a lot of y'all young cats may not know, you used to go to an actual place called the mall, and there used to be a store called Sam Goody, and there was all kinds of different places in there. You had to buy physical copies. Best Buy used to be huge, and half of the section was DVDs and CDs of music. So they used to have big sections of music. I know y'all remember. I'm like I said, I'm 42. I'm unk status. I remember when Best Buy first came out, and they had them long rows of CDs. It was CDs all over the place. You was going out and buying the CD. Niggas would line up, especially when it was a popular release. You line up the day of to get that CD so you can get it before nobody else. So you don't have to wait for the next shipment to come in. No, I mean, like it was this. These dudes was selling real selling, like not this fake stuff that's going on now. They had some fake stuff going on back then, but it was not as much as it do now. Not like they do now. It was like dudes was actually moving units, and they was getting paid zero. That's what made the dudes like Master P. That's why he's so endeared in the culture, because Master P was one of the first dudes to really be paying his artists. He paid his people. That's why Snoop left and went to his label, because he got paid. He paid his folks, man. Master P took care of his people. He paid everybody. And they were independent. They were the first independent label that came out that the white folks had to make a deal with them to get their stuff. Like, we got to gatekeep, but not gatekeep nonsense. And, because the music he was pushing was actual trash, really. You know what I'm saying? It was just nonsense that kept pushing a poison in our brains, that kept the police system moving, the prison pipeline going. But now we have a renewed culture that the Most High is bringing us back. Let us use that for the Most High's use. Don't just think that you got to get up and you got to bring the word like Brother Dante, or you got to bring a message like Sister Ashonda, or you got to bring in this prophetic wisdom like Minister Tayu and Minister Yakoba. You don't got to move like that. Everybody has their own thing. If you know about how to do herbs and all that kind of stuff, get on and talk about that. If you know how to grow, shout out to my man Damon Brazel. Dang, I forget his dang, I just straight brain farted that man's channel. I'm so sad. I'm sorry, Brother Damon. I forgot your channel name, man. That really upsets me. I literally had it on my on the tip of my brain. That's so annoying. But he's growing stuff. I saw the programs he had with his kids and some kids in the neighborhoods, and he was teaching them how to grow, how to be farmers and stuff like that. That's great. Make content about that. We don't need another podcast of niggas talking about the problems and then with no solutions. Come in and start talking about stuff that's good. Judge Shar coming in and bringing that correction in the realm of families, that we got to get our family lives back together and stop this nasty divorce rate that we got going, because we got to bring back the family unit, because that is the key to our generational wealth, man. It's not just about religion. That's why I say it's not a religion. It's a culture, and the culture is designed by the people who do it and live in it. And it's time for us to enrich our mind and start putting our culture out. Get it out of your brain. It's not about just getting up here and bringing a message. It's about bringing up the culture, because that's what we're doing. We're setting the groundwork for our kids and the grandkids, for the future generations that's coming, so they can know that being a Hebrew is not a monolith. You don't just run around dressed up like a Power Ranger, standing outside yelling at white folks with Mexicans next to you. That's not what we do. That's not how we move. Elephant Man podcast. Thank you, Dad. Thank you. I was thinking, I couldn't remember. I knew it was something Man podcast. Thank you, brother. Thank you. Elephant Man podcast. He be out there growing stuff, doing his thing. Golly gifted with Auntie and Sister Stephanie. They be out there doing their thing. Auntie sell this deodorant, man. That deodorant stick lasts for so long and it works so well. Natural charcoal that she make herself. It's great, because you actually are supposed to sweat. Like, I used to wear them antiperspirants and stuff, and actually you're supposed to sweat. The sweating is how your body flushes your body out. So you're supposed to sweat a certain type of way. But she has a natural thing that help keep you right, where it don't mess your body up. Like, bro, if the Most High has put something on you, if you got something that's in you that you can do, show for that thing forth. It don't matter if there's other folks that do it your Hebrew way and be you. Y'all see me, man. I get up here, man. I just be yapping. I don't just be yapping. I bring what the Most High give me, but I do it my way. I'm gonna say how I say and move how I move. Shoot, if I wasn't, the only reason why I don't go true and say what I really be wanting to say is because YouTube is full of nonsense, and I don't want them to shut the channel down. But those of y'all that talk to me in private, that heard me talk, y'all know how I move. Like, I'm no filter, but not no filter in a foul, perverted way. No filter, and I'm gonna tell the truth, nothing but the truth. We finna talk facts. Get up and talk your talk. Don't be scared. Don't be afraid of their faces. Who cares? Most of the people that's going to sit there criticizing you are dumb idiots that just sit back, be on Instagram all day, ain't got nothing to offer to society but foolishness. They offer nothing. Dudes talk all that. Oh, you this, oh, you lame. All you do, brother, is go out and make bastards. That's all you do. You go out, you screw silly women and make bastards. That's not an achievement. That's why the first thing they want to do, these lame dudes say, you don't get no girls, you don't be out here, you don't get no coochie, nigga. Who cares, nigga? Who's gonna remember when you stand before y'all on Judgment Days? He's gonna be like, well, congratulations, you took down a lot of my daughters. You think that's what he gonna care about? Y'all niggas are so shallow in your brains. This is why we gotta change the culture, because they got the worst, the stupidest, the dumb. Bro, go back sometimes and look at those songs that we may hold dear. You know, I know I was joking off rattling them songs, but a lot of those songs are stupid. They're dumb. When you really go back and look and listen, you're like, man, these songs are dumb. I remember I went back and looked at the video "Money Ain't a Thing" with Jermaine Dupri's little dwarf behind, and the Joe Cool, the Camel, Jay-Z, and I'm like, these niggas is lame. It was just lame. It was lame. It was legit lame. But as a kid, as a naive child caught up in Babylon culture, it was like, oh, bro, this junk is stupid. It's time out to let these stupid people be out here leading. Like the dumbest of the niggas be out here running stuff. Like, look at your boy, Club Shay Shay. Number one, ain't no way in heck I'm gonna call myself no Shay Shay as a grown man. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Number one. That's like a pet name your mama call you that you don't like, but you allow it because that's your mama. Like, if it call me as no grown man, no Shay Shay. But this stupid nigga lost all the millions of dollars over this basic of not even fly white girls. She was so mundane, it was ridiculous. You lost all that money over mediocre. That's what simp stands for those who don't know. Suckers idolizing mediocre coochie. But the P. We in mixed company, so I ain't gonna go there like that. But if we was having the men's only talk, I'd be going there. You know, you got to be respectful. That's what he is. That's what a lot of these dudes are. Look at these stupid these athletes are dumb, bro. A lot of these niggas are dumb. All you good for is carrying a ball. These are the niggas you want to have leading. These are the niggas you want to look up to. Why is it that every time as soon as you have a boy, the first thing they do is put a ball in his hand, get that ball out that boy's hand and give him a book. We got enough niggas, stupid niggas running around that can put a ball in the hoop. We need niggas that can understand, that can do reasoning. That have critical thinking, that have wisdom, because that's what it's gonna take to bring this next generation in. Not no stupid nigga that can put a ball in the hoop. Who cares? You're just a high-class slave. That's all. You're still a slave. You're going down to the slave auction. You're waiting for somebody to call your number so you can go and be a slave for them. It's slavery. Simps with money. Bingo, brother. Bingo. Money does not unlame you. And there's a lot of men running around that we all looking up to. And these niggas are lame. The lamest and dumbest bunch of us, bro. That's why you see so much idolation for these stupid niggas. Why you have, pretty much 50% of the women going after 2% of the same type of garbage nigga. It's these stupid dudes that feed the chaos. That's what they are. They're stupid. And we got to get out of this mess, man. We were when Daniel and all the other Hebrew men were there with the priest. See, what you got to understand is back in the day, a priest wasn't just somebody that did a religious rite. A priest was actually, to put it to a today analog, even though I hate using the word, but it'll give you understanding. They were scientists, bro. They were scientists. They knew the science. They knew the astrology, and they were 10 times better than Babylon. Even modern Babylon honors past Babylon for their achievements, and our people were 10 times better. You read in Jasher, Benjamin was able to use an instrument of the stars to figure out the location of Joseph. This is wisdom, man. This is wisdom that the Most High he ain't gonna give it to you if you stupid and you dumb and you can't get it. Give him something to work with. Enlarge your mind. And it don't got to be in one, it could be in all sorts of things. Again, if you're learning herbology, be one of the best herbologists. If you out here doing workouts and stuff like my man Garth, hey, learn your muscle groups, do all your things like that and learn these things. You don't need no degree. Stop letting these jokers that's out here paying off their student loan debt, that's out here just using this piece of paper that shows they're a good little slave with their debt, try to shame you into thinking you're not an expert because I went to college. I can tell you right now, there's niggas that went to college that don't know nothing. I can outthink any of these niggas. I can outthink any of these jokers. Most of the time, the jokers that come out of college, they can't even critically think properly because your brain is so accustomed to nonsense. When I had to deal with, when I started hiring in IT, and these dudes that were hiring, oh my God, they were horrible. They were like asking, oh, well, we need documentation. So I'm thinking they need documentation for the clients. No, they want the answers to the problems. Like, my nigga, every IT guy that's worth his salt knows Google is your friend. Most of the stuff I learned, I Googled, my guy. Reading technical docs and learning and diving in stuff. But these jokers don't have the mind to do even that because all you've been taught to do is regurgitate. You're not taught to think. You memorize, you regurgitate. Memorize, regurgitate. That's not learning. That's indoctrination. Learning is if we give you something and then we discuss it. And if you come up with something that counters what I'm teaching on the lesson, well, guess what? We all learned something. We all are better now. This can go for anything on any subject. This isn't just on one thing. This is how you think to a higher level. You question everything. You take to yourself to the point where you got to remind yourself to love yourself because you question everything, even of yourself. Why am I feeling this feeling? Why am I moving this way? Why am I acting like this? Why am I doing that? That is how you become a wise person. When you don't just trust your soul because you understand that your soul has been programmed from the Hollywood programming and the broadcast that you were brought up on, that most of your thoughts are not even your own. Most of the things that you think that you have and your values, they were handed to you and you don't even realize it. Heck, you're not even allowed to question the shape of the world because as soon as you walk into that kindergarten room, they got a globe right there on the table. You're not even allowed to question it. So don't let this education system that may have called you dumb or may have put you down, don't let them niggas try to come through and make you feel any type of way. Because again, if you try to teach a fish how to fly, how to climb a tree, I don't mean the fish is stupid. That just means that you suck as a teacher. That's all that means. If you out here trying to teach a monkey how to fly a fighter jet, that don't mean that it's a stupid monkey. That just means that you had bad expectations because that monkey only has a certain capability. Now, if you teach that monkey to climb a tree, hey. You teach that fish how to swim, hey. You teach a human how to fly that jet, hey. Don't let this nonsense hold you back. You can get wisdom. I ain't set foot in nobody's seminary school. And can't nobody you could have a triple doctorate, PhD, whatever. You can't come toe-to-toe with me. I dare you, nigga. You can't because your brain is so stuck on nonsense or what that doctrination that you got. You can't even understand the basics of the Bible, let alone the deeper things of the word. Everybody I've seen that come out of a doggone seminary school sucks when it comes to prophecy and understanding. They can get the basic things, the very, 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 very basic things. But when it comes to the realness of y'all, these niggas don't know nothing. Because that system isn't designed to teach you the word. This is designed to indoctrinate you. Nothing that you have is designed to teach you. It's designed to indoctrinate you. Just like my man Corey Red say, if I am the government and want to maintain a sense of control, I'm only giving degrees in what I want you to know. How come they don't teach you about the ether? What does electromagnetic waves travel on? If you put your cell phone in a void is basically like a tank where you pull all the atmosphere out of it. So there's no air, no oxygen, no nothing. It's just what we call a void, but you still see light. And if you put your cell phone in there, it'll still ring. So what medium, if it's not going on the air, what is the medium that they travel through? These type of things that you start thinking about, that you start asking questions. If gravity is a thing, why do I have to pop a hole in the back of my cooler after I'm done to dump all the water out? I should be able to just pop it open and gravity should just pull it out. Why do I got to pop this hole in the back? Things that make you go, Start asking questions about, and it don't have to be something, me, I move in the laws of Yah. I don't call it science. I call it the laws of Yah, because it's the law that Yah put into place. Thermodynamics, all this stuff. These are laws that the Yah has put into place. And there's all sorts of laws for different things. There's a law when it comes to moving in your body. That's what Brother Garth be helping out with, getting your body right, to get the law of your body together. There's a law for everything. There's all sorts of things. There's more than one thing. Stop trying. Everybody's not a preacher. We don't all got to be preachers. I want to hear folks talk about stuff that I don't know about health stuff. That's something I wasn't raised in. I was ignorant of that stuff raised in. I've been learning from the aunties and learning from the brothers that actually have that type of understanding, that have done that have gotten wisdom in that. So that's what we need to do, man. Like, it's time for us to take our culture back, and for us to start moving different, moving with wisdom. And don't be intimidated because, I don't move like this person, that person. Who cares? Do what you do, and then just start. It don't matter. It don't matter. Just do something. I know some of my thumbnails don't be according to the proper YouTube standards and all this other crap. I don't care. I'm just moving. I'm doing something. And as you go, you refine and you keep going and you just keep going. But the important thing is to just start. It don't gotta be all together. That's something that, I'm kind of a perfectionist. That's a lot of reason why in the past I didn't start a lot of things, because I'll get there, then I start looking and I start planning, and I'll be trying to match myself to somebody that's been doing it for 20 years, and then I'll be like, no, I can't do it that way, because I'm looking at somebody that didn't start that way. Go to some of these dudes that got 20 million followers on YouTube, got 20 million subscribers, 5 million, 1 million, all that. And when you go into their video page, there's an option to choose the oldest video. Go to the oldest video and look at how they started. There was a dude I learned cameras from. His name's Jared Poland. And I went back and looked at some of his early videos, and man, they were rough. His audio was whack. Camera was set up, but it was a rough production. But you look at him now and you wouldn't think nothing of it. I mean, the man is a problem when it comes to pictures and photography. That's how I learned. I learned from watching others and stuff like that got, dipped my toes in the photography game. Nobody starts off at the top. Just start. That is the key thing. Just start. This is where we are right now. We're getting out of this religious nonsense where everybody want to be a preacher or a bishop or an apostle. I'm a bishop, apostle, pastor, first of his name. Like all this stupid nonsense that don't matter, bro. You can bring the glory of Yah in just the thing that you have been given, that the Most High is giving you. It doesn't matter if you think, oh, that's not important. No, but you don't know if it's not important or not. If Most High put it on your heart, you feel that thing that's just like that. Every time you think in your mind of something, that's the thing that comes to your mind. Make it move, man. Make it move. Make it move. We got to start supporting each other and bringing each other up. That's why I brought up my brother Garth, my brother Elephant Man podcast, my sisters that, my auntie that came out there, Yali Gifted, my awesome big sis over there, Judge Shar. Like, go check out all them folks. My other Sister Fatea over there with a Thy Written Word, giving out great business counsel, helping you to change your mindset. Like, this is what we got to take this thing back to group economics, man. Group economics is where it's at, and it's not in trying to be, this is why, if you've ever noticed, there's only one black comedian that's out. There's usually only one major rapper that's super hot. They don't never show us working together. They always got us pitted against each other because they don't want unity with us, bro. Why is it that as you start seeing Africa pull the colonial braces off their neck, you got these stupid niggas out here talking about FBA? Oh, we ain't African. We was actually from over here. Actually, we was here the whole time. There was no such thing as the slave trade and none of that kind of stuff. We was already here because we just Indians. Oh, we Indians. And then the dumb niggas don't even realize that the doggone Indians are straight Russians. There's a whole article I read about a Russian tribe from northern Russia. I mean, I'm telling you, look at some of them northern Russian tribes. They look just like the natives here, except they dress for their weather. They just dress colder. They erect teepees. They erect teepees. They erect what you call them, the totem poles. They wear the similar type of clothes. All kinds of stuff. They even look like this. It's the same people. The same people, bro. Like they literally got y'all denying your very heritage. Like, come on. The Most High said, no, the igloos are actually in Alaska. That's Alaska. But they got us, they got us out here denying, not us, they got some of us out here denying our whole culture. That when it come time that if a corridor do open up and we get a chance to leave, some of these dumb niggas will stay. Oh, this is my land. I'm gonna stay here till the white people leave so I can have my land back. Forget the part that the Bible said that they will be subject to a land that they don't know. They'll be in a land that's not their own. So we just gonna skip that part of the Bible. Okay. Get what you got going and do it, man. Just start moving. Just do it. Just step forward and just do it. That's really it. That's my one. I know that's right. I agree with you. I agree. But not everybody over there is a Hamite, my guy. That's the other thing. Not everybody over there is a Hamite. See what this is. I'm gonna give y'all a little sneak peek of this, and then I'm gonna close, because when I talked about how I was gonna have some stuff behind the paywall, it's gonna be stuff like this, because I asked myself a question: where do white people come from? Because what you got to understand is the Bible didn't have non-melanated people up in it unless they were a certain type of or a group of people, a certain type of being that wasn't even human. They so-called try to tell you, where they say, oh, there was a Homo erectus and there was a non-human ancestor that certain humans made. They give, again, they throw lies in with the truth. They throw some lies in, but there's some truth in there. All of mankind was melanated. And this, you even see that to this day. If you find old pictures of the Manchurian Guard in China, they're black. You find old pictures of like World War I Japanese soldiers, they're black. They're black. By black, I mean that their skin is melanated. They're melanated. They're not Hebrews, but they were melanated. The whole world was melanated. The features that we say, oh, these are white features. Like every time somebody want to try to disregard me or try to bring me down, oh, you got white features, and that just let me know that you're too stupid to even talk to me. If you say some stupid crap, if you think that the people running around with the most recessive genes in the world, that is the smallest part of the whole world, could actually put genes down that get passed down like that, you're a true moron. You are a moron. You're very dumb, and you don't understand life. They're not the arbiters of features. There's literally groups of melanated people in Africa and in India that have narrow noses and long straight hair. Some of them are even born with blonde hair and blue eyes, and they're straight up melanated. No, they'll try to tell you, oh, there was a white ancestor. How is the recessive genes gonna last all that long? The genes are recessive. Nature has a way of fixing itself. This is why they didn't want us mating with them, because they knew that eventually they get bred out. Every time in the beginning of AI, they would ask AI, what does humanity look like in the end? And it was always a brown person. I remember one dude on Twitter saying, how come humanity is always brown by the time it gets to the end of these timelines from the AI? Because they're trying to let you know. They're letting you know. We are a part of the originals. That's why melanated people all over the world. You got the Aboriginals in Australia. They got displaced out of their place. The Ainu in Japan, they got displaced out of their place. Bruh. Even in the term Caucasian don't even fit them, y'all. The term Caucasian don't fit them, because if you really look at the inhabitants of the Caucasus Mountains, some of them are melanated. There are melanated members in the Caucasus Mountains. That's all I'm saying. So with this knowledge, where did they come from? That's all I'm saying. That's that. Again, they be telling the truth through jokes. They telling the truth through jokes. They be making jokes, but they be telling the truth. That's all I'm saying. Why is it that when Noah was born, his granddad rather, ran to his dad and was like, hey, he don't look like one of us. He looked like one of the angel kind. It wasn't just because the brother was glowing with glory. It wasn't just because of that. He talked about his skin color. And then look at through the history. How come every single so-called witch doctor or high priest, I'll call them by their name, every high priest and all these pagan religions, and every single one of them, why is it that almost all of them paint themselves white? In every culture, they all paint themselves white. Even in non-melanated cultures, they paint themselves white. Why? Why is it that you have the Chinese who claim to be the sons and daughters of the dragon? They fall in love with paleness. Paleness is like an aesthetic to them, so much so that they'll walk around with umbrellas on the day with the sun out because they don't want to get darker. They have this obsession, this worship of pale skin. That's all I'm saying, man. That's what I'm saying. You got to start asking questions. This is why we got to gatekeep our culture. This is why, because there's a certain group of people on this earth that do not have a culture. If you notice, they are just as unseasoned as their food. Why is that? Why is it that everything that they have a ripoff of somebody else? These are questions that, you got to ask yourself. You got to come out of the nonsense. You got to come out of your anger, because I don't hold no anger towards white. Again, there's a dude that I consider like one of my brothers from another mother. As a matter of fact, I just got finished talking to his uncle that I call uncle. And this man's a whole Anglo, but those are my people. I got nothing but love for them. That's my dude. That is my guy. Like, if I'm running up out of this place, I already told him, I said, hey man, when something crazy happened in this place, when if all the black people leave, you can come with me. I straight up told bro that. He laughed and said, bet. like straight up, man. I don't have no hatred towards white folks. This is literally a question that I just asked. This is an anthropological question. Just like I would try to figure out, where the species of a fish came from or whatever. It's just the questions that came up as I was starting to read these books of the Bible that they took out, and I'm starting to see some things, and I'm like, wait a minute. It's talking about Italy and Spain during the time of Noah and Noah's kids going out there. And we all know albinos still have melanated kids because we see that all the time in Africa. That albinos will have kids that's blacker than black, even though their mama or their daddy was whiter than white. That's why I say the Most High got a plan for everything. Just like he did with the calendar, he got the albinos. They're like a sign in the earth. To me, they are a sign. They are blessed. It's a blessing. Because you are a sign. If you're albino, you can take joy that the Most High has chosen you to be a sign of what things were before and how things were. Because the Bible was written for this time that we're in now. The earth is upside down. It is literally in the upside down. We are living in Stranger Things. the earth is upside down. Y'all, we just went over the whole thing with the years and all the goofiness that they did with the years. Imagine history itself. Yeah, history is not real. The history they tell you, that's not real. It's faker than all get out. Because that's why they messed up the timeline. And they got the dark ages. What's going on with these dark ages, huh? And then how did y'all just come up? How are y'all like 2% of the population, but you ruled the whole earth? It's almost like you had help in the beginning, because there was a lot of us. And there was a lot of other folks that was our cousins, the melanated, the Hamites, and some of us like to try to say like it's some bad thing. But it's not. That's literally our family. So looking down on the Hamite is actually retarded, because again, that's your cousin. like come off the high horse, my guy. We the ones that said the wall. We were literally the leaders of the earth, and we out here in the mud and in the nasty, in the poop of the earth. We have no right to be prideful with nobody. We should be humble with everybody. We are not better than nobody, because all have to come before the throne and kneel before the Most High. So that's all I have to say. I say that, what I mean, it's important that we gatekeep our culture, bro. That's my main message. That's our main thing. That's why a lot of my messages have been aimed at the culture and aimed at things that we hold dear and things that we were raised at, and revealing what it is so that we could turn away from it and get back and closer to the Most High, because we were raised in some garbage, y'all. We were raised in pure trash. Pure trash. So I encourage you, again, do what the Most High has put on your heart. That thing that's been nagging the back of your brain. That's how, the Most High don't come down and be like, he's not going to come down and be like, Fatea, Start a business called thy written word. Like that's that stupid nonsense Christianity teaches you. That's goofy. That's dumb. That's not how that's designed. Is that one thought that you have, that one thing that you're good at, that one thing that you've always been interested in. Bring it forth, man. Make a YouTube channel. Start yapping about it. Start talking about it. Bring out the facts that you got for your thing. If you're doing that, if you out here doing that, like I said, hit me. I put my my little contact down there, Big Red at Crimson Line. If you out there, you doing your thing for y'all, and you got your thing going, hit me up, and I will definitely shout out your channel, because we got to do this together. We support each other. We look out for each other. There's one thing I saw. There was this the dude. His name was Nerdrotic. His name's Gary. He started out when all this stuff with Star Wars started happening, which was just, oh God, it was a shame how you could take $1 billion thing and turn it into whatever that mess that Kathleen Kennedy turned it into. This is the reason why Isaiah 3 is forever the king. My people are down because they're ruled by women and children. And I ain't saying not all women are bad leaders, but not every woman is a leader. That's what all I'm saying. There are some that are definitely chosen. There's a small commitment of them, but we see in America what happens when you let a foolish woman run things. It's stupidness that starts occurring. Because how in the world can you take Star Wars, which literally every Star Wars movie that came out made billions of dollars, and you turned it into the nonsense that it is now? Took my man Lando Calrissian and turned him into some weirdo who has sex with robots. Like, what? Always turning the black man into some weird sexual perversion. If he ain't gay or weird like your boy in The Fifth Element, it's this nonsense that they showing you. You know, it's always some mess like that. But they work together, Gary and Nerdrotic, and then he got together with Geeks and Gamers and a whole bunch of other folks. They all had hatred for the new Hollywood system and the wokeness, as they call it. So they all band together and they grew their brands together. And now they're a force. As a matter of fact, the one Hebrew amongst them started his comic book company called the Ripperverse. And it's popping off. Brothers out there selling millions. But unfortunately, you know, he's caught up in Christianity and caught up in the nonsense. So he's running around with these folks thinking that they, you know, that they got his back. You know, hey, it is what it is. But that's what we need to be doing, man. So if you're doing something righteous, and you doing something that for the Most High, definitely let me know about it. Shoot me your channel. Tell me what you're doing, and I will shout you out. I will shout you out if you are out here telling. Now, if you out here on some nonsense, you know, you know what I'm saying. You know, it is what it is. I ain't gonna put no nonsense out there. But if you out there doing some real talk, hey, I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I ain't acting like I got the big old following of a channel, but we need to support each other, bro. We need to show love to each other. Exactly. The spookification. They be making junk spookified. Exactly. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like we got to work together, man. It's time out for this, you know, this nonsense. Everybody has a role. Everybody has a part to play. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, I'm going to tell you how to work out and do that. No, I'm going to send you over there to Brother Garth. I'm not going to be like, oh, yeah, I know all this about, I know a little something about flowers and stuff, but I learned from the aunties. So I'm going to send you to the person I learned it from. Give credit where credit is due. That's why, you know, I'm not name dropping when y'all see me talk about Teo and all these folks. I'm telling you that because this is what we do. It's not a big I and, you know, little you. It's we, all of us. It's us together. This superhero nonsense of showing the one person that just does it all and has it. That's not it, man. We are a community. We work together. Together is how we build this thing. So, with that said, sorry, I'll get passionate about that kind of stuff because it's really what the Most High put in me, man. We got to rebuild our culture. But with that said, I will see y'all next week. We'll definitely start talking about we're going to talk about another part of nature that may be a little controversy. As a matter of fact, I'm going to show y'all where my avatar comes from. And we're going to have a conversation about that as well. So I think a lot of y'all may find that interesting. We're going to talk about Hebrew cosmology, the true cosmology of the earth. Like I said, that's all a part of culture and dissecting the lies that we've been told. So with that, man, I appreciate y'all. I got nothing but love for y'all. And you know, go out there and be great, man. Do your thing. There's something that's in you and every single one of you that only you can do. Don't take, Red could do that because he's special. Man, look, there's some days I gotta encourage I'll be straight up with you. I didn't feel like getting on tonight today. I was so upset, and I had all kinds of other little things popping in that just had me ticked off. But I was like, nah, I'm gonna go ahead and do it. Enemy in my head. Oh, what you doing that for? Oh, what you even doing that for? Did the Most High tell you to do that? Do anybody be even listening to paying attention to you? What's the point of you going and doing blah 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 blah? And here I am. So you're gonna get the nonsense. You're gonna feel the imposter syndrome. That's because we've been raised as slaves. We've been raised to think that we're nothing. But I'm trying to tell you that you all have something. We all have something that the Most High wants us to add to the pot to make this big old gumbo of Hebrews that got our stuff together. That's what we did in Tulsa. Everybody worked together. It's time to bring that back. All right, y'all. I am going to holler at y'all next week. Y'all be blessed and have a blessed evening.
The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? When an army surrounds me, my heart shall not fear. And though war rise against me, I will remain confident. I'm in war with the spirit that got my people on drugs. Turn my sisters to hoes, all my brothers to thugs. I'm in war with that spirit, put money before people. Hypocritical laws, claiming there's no evil. You not a thug, your facade is so see-through. Industry pushing more murder and more evil. You a real thug, so what? You still a whore for evil. Satan pimping you, after he kill you, he gon' leave you. I'm in war with the spirit that keep your mind from learning. You find them in institutions of higher learning. If I'm the government and wanna maintain a form of control, I'm only giving degrees and what I want you to know. I'm in war with that spirit that always wanna compete and justify doing dirt with I gotta eat. I'm in war with that spirit that want everything quick, fast. Santeria, voodoo, and the spirit of witchcraft. I'm in war with the spirit of gimmicks and whack lyrics and rap critics who exalt artists that lack lyrics. You about the money, but what is it costing ya? Book of Revelation say drug dealers are sorcerers. I'm in war with the evil and rappers, the evil and pastors, the evil and actors, the evil and slave masters. I'm in war with the Eurocentric view of the world. White supremacy's garments. I'm in war with the kingdom of darkness. Rejoice not against me, O my enemy. When I fall, I shall arise. When I sit in darkness,